Good morning, everybody. Christina back with you in our Building Your Immune System series. Today we are talking about hydration and the importance of staying hydrated. Now, I'd like to start this conversation by saying that I observe personally two groups when it comes to hydration. We have the ones who are absolutely obsessed with water. You know who I'm talking about. Maybe you're one of them. You carry your water in your backpack, in your purse, in the stroller, in the car. You've constantly got a water bottle with you. It never leaves your side, and you're constantly drinking. Okay, group one. Group two, yeah, you're the other set of people who absolutely have no idea what the big fuss is about. Or you hate the taste of water and you're just not gonna drink it. So maybe you're a coffee drinker or a tea drinker or a soda drinker. Stop that. So I say that a little tongue-in-cheek about the two groups, but I'm sure you know who I'm talking about too, right? What I'm hoping today is to bring some better awareness to all of us as to why hydration is really important. And those of you who are totally obsessed with water, keep up the good work. Those of you who are less than obsessed, I hope you'll have a better understanding, feel better educated as to why I want you drinking water, okay? So water is essential for life, period. We have to have it. I think it's interesting to note that men, their body composition is actually 50 to 60% water, and for women, that percentage is 45 to 50%. That's because women are higher in fat. So it gives us our curves, so we won't complain about it. But that fat doesn't hold on to water as well as our men's bodies do, okay? So it's important to all of us. I also think it's really interesting to think about the organs within our bodies. So our brain and our heart are actually 73% water, and our muscles and our kidneys are actually 79% water. So if you are a sports fan at all, or maybe you're an athlete, I like football, college football, and you'll see the guys halfway through the game, especially if it's a really hot game, and they are on the field laying there in agony because they have cramps, okay? They're dehydrated. So they take them off the field, they give them an IV flush, get that hydration in there super fast. So your muscles, that lack of water will be more evident in your musculature before you'll notice that your brain, your heart, or your kidneys are dehydrated. Pause for a second and think about that. We're talking about vital organs. Your brain, your heart, your kidneys. We cannot ignore that they themselves are mostly water. And so we must support our bodies by drinking water. So what are the vital functions of water within our body? Well, water helps dissolve nutrients so that they're more easily dispersed. Well, let me back up. More easily absorbed during digestion. And then water transports. So that's the dispersion, right? That's the moving the nutrients around. And think of all the communication that happens within our blood. There's a lot of information, chemicals, neurotransmitters, nutrients that all need to be moving around our bodies in our blood, and we have to be hydrated to do that properly. I also like to think about water carrying toxins through our body to our kidneys and then being excreted through our urine, right? So let's take a step back and think about our kidneys and the importance of supporting them through hydration. So kidneys regulate the volume and chemical composition of our body's fluids. The kidneys also contribute to the acid-base balance within our bodies, and they are in charge of the excretion of waste in the form of urine. While the liver is the gatekeeper of fat-soluble toxins, the kidneys are the gatekeepers for our water-soluble toxins. So those are toxins that are being flushed through our bloodstream and into our kidneys. Kidneys grab a hold of them and then flush them through our urinary system, okay? Getting rid of them by urine. Water actually helps to dilute those toxins, and sometimes in the case of poisons, okay, that come in, water helps dilute them so they're not harmful as they're being processed through our bodies. I think it's really important to note here that 20 times an hour, our body's entire volume of blood passes through our kidneys. So think about the speed at which our kidneys are having to work. 20 times an hour, the entire volume of our blood passes through our kidneys. So if we're not staying hydrated, then our kidneys aren't functioning as well as they should. Therefore, we're not creating that cradle or that support system for our bodies. It's really important. Our kidneys need the water, folks. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but that's why we're here today. We're talking about hydration. The kidneys also conserve water and balance electrolytes. So again, back to the muscle issue, or if you're an athlete, you find that you need more electrolytes, you're helping directly balance those electrolytes within your kidneys. So it's all full circle. It's all interconnected. It all matters. And then I also like to think about, and I think it's really important to say, as we're supporting our kidneys, one of the main areas, other than toxin excretion, another area that our kidneys are vital for is blood pressure regulation. So now that's a really interesting thing to back up into, right? As we consider symptoms or inflammation, stress, blood pressure's high, maybe we can back it up. Maybe we can move back and look at how much hydration we're getting through the day. Are we supporting our kidneys so that our kidneys can support our blood pressure? It's really interesting connections, right? So I really wanted to bring that to the forefront of our talk today, because we are creating for ourselves a nurturing of our bodies as whole beings. So our kidneys really need us to pay attention here. Did you know that by the time you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated? Okay. It takes a while for our bodies to communicate, for the message that we're starting to dehydrate to get to our brain, into our hypothalamus, and for that to trigger to say, hey, we're thirsty. It's a process, okay? So by the time our mouth is dry and we're recognizing, oh my gosh, maybe I'm thirsty, or maybe it's a complete water panic attack. You know, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in the store, I'm so thirsty. Like, you leave the cart and you go get some water because you can't take it anymore. Okay, water emergency. You're already dehydrated. So keep in mind, like, having water around you is a really important thing. Drink before you're thirsty. So no more arguments of, I'm not thirsty, I don't need to drink any water. No. So the big question is, how much water do you need to drink? And in general, there's this rule of thumb out there that says, take your body weight, divide it in half, and that's the number of ounces of water that you need to have every day. And although I think that might be a good starting point, I would say that just like diet, one size does not fit all here. So how much water your body needs really depends on a lot of different things. Your diet is a big one. So if you are a super veggie fruit eater, those are high water content items. So fruit and veg, other than something like melon or grapes or something like that, fruit and vegetables actually contain about 50% water. So you're getting some water there, and that's great. But if you're a high protein eater, and so like you're hardcore paleo, and maybe you're hardcore paleo and you're only eating the protein part of it and you're letting the veggies go, well, for your body to process that protein, you actually need more water. So diet plays a big role in how much water you need. It also is dependent on how much activity you have. So a person who is more sedentary needs less water than an endurance athlete. And for our endurance athletes, so runners, cyclists, even like just people who go to the gym, not that we're going to the gym right now, but if you're working out in your garage or in your backyard or wherever you are, you should be drinking water every 15 minutes. Don't get thirsty, because at that point, your body's already going to start being affected by dehydration. Temperature is another big contributor to how much water you need. So it's warming up here in Southern California, and I find myself drinking a lot more than I did when it was colder, although I'm a tea drinker, so I will sit with a cup of tea half the time during the day when I'm freezing. But I'm finding that my body is telling me I need more water, so paying attention to that. Humidity plays a big factor. So Southern California is kind of a Mediterranean environment, but when we lived in Phoenix, there was no humidity there. It is constantly dry, and I was constantly thirsty. I remember when we first moved to Arizona, we moved with our daughter, Anna, and she was 4 weeks old. And she's a super easy baby. I ain't gonna lie, she was the first one. So, the first one always lulls you into having the second one. So she was crazy easy. And 4 weeks old, you just tuck her in her little carrier and she'd go with you anywhere. Well, we get to Arizona, we've been there for about maybe a day, 24 hours. And I could not soothe this baby. Like, it didn't matter what I did. Come to find out, she was thirsty. She was 4 weeks old. And she was thirsty, and so we started really upping her hydration, and guess what? It settled out, and she was fine. So if you live in an arid place, then drink more water. You probably need to drink less than if you live in Florida, where it's outrageously humid, right? And also think about altitude. People who live at higher altitudes actually need more water. We go to Montana. We like to ski in Big Sky from time to time. And in that day transitioning to that high altitude, we actually are very mindful of drinking more and more water so that we don't get the altitude headaches. So diet, temperature, humidity, altitude, how much you exercise, they all play a part in navigating how much water you drink. So yes, start with a rule of thumb, but then listen to your body and give it what it needs. So if water is too plain for you and you're looking for ways to change it up, consider quenching your thirst with some, I like to think of them, tasty and nutritious additions. If you've been listening to my Building Your Immune System and series, and you saw the video earlier this week about food, one of the things that I mentioned was a daily smoothie. And so if you've started incorporating a daily smoothie, great job. You can take the volume of that and, as an estimate, decrease it by 50%, and that's the number of ounces that you're getting in water for that smoothie serving. Okay, great job. You've already upped your smoothie, your water intake with that. Apple cider vinegar is a great nutritious addition to water, as is lemon. And what I like about both of those is that they partner with our bodies on the digestive side as well. So they help our bodies detox. Have you heard of shrubs? Okay, I'm a huge fan of shrubs. They're also known as drinking vinegars. They came about in about the 15th century in England, and they were used to help with hydration, but they were, at that point, they were used to preserve berries so that they would last longer. And they were also used medicinally to help fight scurvy. So if you were on a ship, you were starting to suffer from the effects of scurvy, then you'd often be given some shrub to drink, or drinking vinegar. And all it is are fresh berries that you allow to sit in vinegar for a week or two, and then you end up with this beautifully colored vinegar that then you put in your water. So you're getting the nutritional value of the berries and the vinegar, and it just changes up the water. I love to put mine in like a sparkling water, okay? Just thinking about different ways that you can be refreshed and stay healthy. So there are a lot of shrub recipes on the internet. Go explore, see if you can find one that you like, but just be careful not to choose one that is copious amounts of sugar, because some people actually put sugar to macerate the berries first. So I would caution you there, back to our video earlier that talked about getting rid of sugar as one of our big three, okay? Think about other additions like cucumber, mint, and lemon. Beautiful combination. So make a big pitcher of that and drink that throughout the day. Consider adding frozen berries instead of ice, changing up the flavors. Brew an herbal tea, make it extra strong, and then dilute it with, again, some berries or maybe some orange slices. Anything to get some extra flavor and nutrition in that water will actually serve you. And I want to say, the sky is the limit. I mean, get on Pinterest, you'll find something, I'm sure. So, and actually, because I'm a recipe person, I'm sure you didn't know that, but I am. So if you're struggling and you would prefer a book, there's actually one that I can recommend. It's by Brian Preston Campbell, and it's called Cool Waters. And I bought this book ages ago, so I think it's still in print, but it's a great, beautiful book on ways to change up the flavor of water. And he actually kind of does it from a cocktail basis without any alcohol. So that desire to have something lovely to drink while you're having dinner, it's kind of satisfied there. So, you know, that's a good thing. And then I think, and just be mindful, okay? So if you are a tea drinker, and by that, a caffeine tea drinker, coffee drinker, or an alcohol drinker, I'm not gonna tell you not to do those things. In moderation, of course. But if you do drink coffee, caffeinated teas, or alcohol, be mindful that you do need to drink extra water because those are dehydrating. So, okay, we've covered a lot. I've hopefully beaten it into you that you must stay hydrated. And our next video in the series is all about the impacts of stress, what that does to our body, and how maybe we can mitigate that. And as always, if you have any questions or you would like some personal one-on-one time with me, I am available for clients both locally and long distance, especially getting good at video conferencing because we have to. So that's not a problem. You can reach me at www.anissawellness.com. And I will hope to see you soon. And in the meantime, cheers.